Colin, thanks for joining us. Obviously a frustrating afternoon here in Bristol because for many patches in that game we looked the side more likely to score, but the ball just wasn't ended up in the back of the net, was it?
Yeah. Not the result we came for, not the result that I think the boys showed on the pitch, but the main factor is scoring goals, right? You know, if we take the third goal away because we're really chasing the game, we're taking more risks than we would during the game, the earlier stages. But it's two moments that we went to sleep on, and 2 moments that we got punished for. And I think, maybe, if we look at it, we got to stop the bleed. When one goes in, we can't just receive another one and stop the bleed better. But for long periods in the game, I thought we dominated the game. I thought we had chances to score. We have to be better in both boxes. That's what wins the game. Have to. Can't have, I think, I'm not an XG person, because if I have a shot and you have a shot, it's different just because it's in the same place. No disrespect, right? So XG is XG. I'm talking about shots and effective shots. The amount of shots we had without putting the ball in the back of the net is what let us down today, and the 2 moments.
Yeah, and frustrating as well because, as you say, the first sort of 15 minutes, we're playing some nice stuff. We've worked some good balls into the area that have flashed their way across goal. And then we find ourselves again, like last week, obviously fighting a bit of an uphill battle. And then you take the first 15 minutes of the second half and you think, well, if we had stayed awake for those 2 moments, it's probably there for the taking. And at a place like this, if you go 1-0 up, if you go 2-0 up, it can turn very quickly and you can have the crowd to your advantage. But as we say, it sort of just left a little bit too much to do, which was the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, obviously that wasn't the game plan in terms of leaving too much to do. We have to get better with stopping the bleed and understanding the moments that we're in. I thought that they didn't create loads of things in terms of what they was chasing. We was able to negate that. I thought that we was very good in possession of the ball. And then again, like I said, we went to sleep on 2 moments which we got punished for, and that's what the game's about, right? The game's about punishing when your opponent makes mistakes or you get in areas and absolute punish. And we wasn't able to punish. What I will say, the guys that came on, I think they made an absolute massive impact. They've give a lot to think about now. We have to now look. Obviously, we played the early game. We have to wait to see what the results were, which is a position that no one wants to be in, right? But that's the fact of it. And then we got a whole week to work now. We'll be working this week and looking on to the game on Saturday.
Yeah, there was a lot of fight shown out there, and obviously we saw tempers boiling at the end, but that's all part of the lads being so desperate to do well. And it almost feels like sometimes out there, the lads are so desperate to do well that sometimes, when we get the ball in the box, because a lot of our chances today, we got the balls in the right areas, as you say, and then we're not, I don't want to use the word too scared to pull the trigger, but almost just didn't have the belief that they could pull the trigger. We're trying to lay it off maybe a bit too much, but that's almost over-caring, isn't it? Because they should just trust and believe in themselves and pull the trigger.
I say it a bit different. I don't think it's like over-caring, and I think they do believe. What it is when you're in this situation, you don't want to make a mistake, but you can't be scared to make a mistake. If you're not willing to make the mistake, more often than not willing to make the mistake means you don't actually take the chance. So if you don't take the chance, then you're not going to score. Yeah. And it's a very unique, weird situation unless you've been in it. I understand it, but it doesn't matter. We cannot be scared to make mistakes in the right areas. We can't. We have to risk certain things in the right areas to get the outcomes that we want, and that's all of us. And they know that. What we can take away from the game is, in large spells of that game, I know a lot of people might not have watched the game, and the scoreline, it says 3-1, and that's all that matters is the scoreline, right? But in large spells of that game, we was the better team, and more often than not, if we continue to do that up until the goal, but be better in the boxes, then we will get the results that we are working towards.
Yeah, ultimately, obviously, what happens from 3 o'clock onwards in the other games is out of our hands. But regardless, come 3 o'clock next Saturday, it's back in our hands again because, as always, we've got one more round.
Exactly.
It's still in our own destiny, isn't it?
It is in our hands, and you know, I want everybody to understand this. The boys left everything out there today, absolutely everything, and they left everything out there without getting red cards, which was good. So we got a whole full squad for next week, obviously away from Gordon, from Colin. But in terms of when you look at it and you're in this fight and you look at what they gave today, you don't want to be in this situation, but you know what? I'll take our guys into the next fight. If they start that last game how we ended this game today and how we started this game today, minus the moments, minus the little lapse in concentration, you know, we got a real chance. And I've always believed that. And for those that didn't watch the game, try and grab a little glimpse. But at the end of the day, it's 3-1 and we lost and we take nothing home, right? And that's got to change.
Thank you, Colin.